Hi, I'm Carla Cannon, and I'm excited to share with you today all kinds of information about Apologia's High School Biology program. I'm going to give you an inside look into the program and discuss some of the options that there are with it, including the online or the print-based version of it. And then I'm also going to share my overall thoughts on the program and my daughter's thoughts on it as she has been working through this course this year. One of the first things that I would recommend considering if you're thinking about using this program is what format would be the best fit for you and for your child. There are 3 options available. So you can do this course as a traditional text print-based program where you get the textbook, the solution, answer key, and also a book of tests. So that's the print-based option. The other 2 options are online. So through Apologia, you can actually do this biology class as a live class. So your student logs into their Canvas portal and there is online instruction with a teacher once a week. There are other students in their class. They can ask questions and have access to a biology teacher, and that's a great option that I didn't previously know existed. So that's the online live option, and this is a full year-long class. So if it's something that you're considering, it is something that you have to start at the beginning. So I believe for 2022 the start date for it was around August the 23rd, and then that would go throughout the whole school year. So that's one of the online options. And then the third option is the online self-paced option. And so for this one, it's kind of like the name suggests. Everything is online. It's almost no print-based materials, but I'll get into that a little bit more. And your child logs into the same portal. It's the Canvas portal, and all the textbook pages are on there. There's audio, video. They can do their tests online. Those are graded online, but they don't actually have access to a live teacher. It's going to be the same information that they would get in the textbook, but the online format of it, and we'll talk about some of the advantages and disadvantages to that way. But I think it's good to know starting off that you have 3 choices, and so you can see what is the best fit for you. So the first format that you can do this course in is the traditional print-based option. And within that, there are 3 different sets that you'll see online that you can choose from. So in the first set, it is the basic, and that comes with the textbook. And this is the 3rd edition. It is soft cover. It is not a small book. It is a big one, but it's full color. We'll take a peek into this later. And so you get this textbook with the basic, and then also included in the basic is the tests and the solutions manual. So those all come in your basic package. The next option, one step up from that, is the Advantage package, and that one includes the student notebook. And in my opinion, you really cannot do this program or get everything out of it that you could otherwise without having the student notebook. I feel like it is completely essential to the program, and so it's really not optional, in my opinion. It has your students' schedule in it, a place to take notes, and there's just a whole lot that happens in the student notebook, and it's very, very well done. So that is your print-based option. The other option, and I would like to say right now that no matter which option you choose, whether you go completely print-based or if you do one of the online options, you do need, or I feel that you need, the student notebook, even for the online options. This is very inexpensive. It's nice spiral bound. And so when your child is answering questions, they can lay it out nice and flat. There's places to take notes. There's the information for their labs. So it really is an essential component, even if you're doing the online. So, as I said, that's the print. Your next option is the online live classes. And I am not currently doing that with my daughter, so I'll give you what information I have. But the main thing is to know that that is an option. And so if you have questions, just call Apologia and talk to them, because truly everything that they put out is really well done. And so I would assume that their live classes are excellent as well. But, so the advantages of that, I suppose, is I would say number one, possibly having the accountability. I think, having due dates and having a teacher as a resource that your child can ask questions and contact, having someone else grade their work. They participate in live classes once a week that are approximately 90 minutes. And so, just to have that class experience while still homeschooling, and the opportunity to get feedback from someone other than mom and dad as you enter these high school years. I think there are a lot of advantages to trying an online class. The only thing for myself personally that would cause me to hesitate with that is one of the main reasons that we homeschool is we value our flexibility. Sometimes there's months where we get a lot done, and there's other times where we're more flexible. And so it would be stressful for us to have the type of thing where you could fall behind. So if that feels like your situation, the other online option that's available is the self-paced online class. So the big difference with this one is it is self-paced. There's no due dates. You have a full year from the time that you purchase the subscription to have access. From the day that you start it, you have 1 year from that date to complete the course. And so that gives you, lots of time and flexibility. The difference is that there is no teacher. So it's really the same type of thing as doing it as a print-based option, except the textbook, everything is online except for, like I said, you do need to purchase the student notebook in order to have your student have a place to, write all their notes, answer questions. It's well worth it and essential in my opinion. So if you're wanting to do something online, they take their module tests online, and those are self-graded just automatically. So there are some nice advantages to that. So I personally was really debating what format would be right for my daughter, and what we decided is we are doing the self-paced online. And the reason for that is I talked about when you get the print-based option, I talked about some of the different sets. So I said that there's the basic, the advantage that includes the student notebook, and then there's also the superset. And in the superset, it is, all the things of the advantage. So you've got your textbook, the test booklet, answers and solutions, student notebook, and then in the superset, it also includes an audio recording of the entire textbook being read. It's an MP3 audio recording, and it also includes a thumb drive with wonderful, wonderful videos that are not new information, so it's not necessarily essential to have those videos to complete the course, but it kind of goes over and has someone, and they're really well done. There's got good information, and it really gives a different perspective on each of the lessons in the textbook, and helps your student just have another opportunity to learn the concepts and have it reinforced in a different way. The reason that we went ahead and did the self-paced online is because how wonderfully the audio and the videos are integrated into the program. And when we take our inside look, I'll show you how all that works. But I know from previous Apologia courses, we always get the audio MP3, and it's not because my daughter isn't an excellent reader. She reads very, very, very well. However, this is technical reading. This is not a light course. And so there is a ton of new vocabulary, and I think it is absolutely critical that they know how to pronounce these different words properly. And so whether you do it, by getting the MP3 and then reading along in the textbook, or if you're doing it online and it's all integrated and you can hit play and then read along and listen, which is how my daughter does it. I think that's really important that they're hearing those words that are going to be a lot of new vocabulary for them, hearing them pronounced correctly. And it's just another method of input. Instead of just reading it, they're also hearing it. And I know my daughter said she doesn't feel like she could do this course nearly as effectively without that audio because of all the new terminology built into it. She also really strongly recommends that you have the video portion. If you go and click on the link below, you can see samples of everything that I'm going to show you. You can see a sample video, and they are very well done and really kind of hit those concepts home that they're reading and listening through the audio in their lessons. So I personally think that's a critical component, and because it's so seamlessly integrated into the online versions, that to me is why we went in that direction instead of having the textbook, needing to open that up, then you're opening up your audio device and trying to find, where you're at in there, turning that on, and then finding when the right time was to watch the video. So you can certainly make it work with the print, and an advantage to the print version and format of it is that, it is nice. I think, with online, it's a little harder to flip back or find. It's very nicely done online, but there's something about having a book in your hand. So if that's important to you and your child, you certainly can have the advantage of the video and the audio and still have a physical copy of the textbook. All right, hopefully that is helping you understand what your three choices are as far as format. Let's go ahead and jump in and look at the course itself and talk about who this would be good for. So one of the things that I love about Apologia is just how well laid out their courses are, and this biology course is no exception. I wanted something that my daughter could do very independently because I am not a high school science teacher, and so I needed something that, number one, had good, clear instruction, and number two, that was formatted in such a way that she could look, see what she needed to do, and complete in a day, and then work through that on her own. So there, within the student notebook, which is really one of the many reasons why you need to have that, is this beautiful schedule. There are more pages than this, but this will let you see. And so it is very easy for your student each day of the week to look and see exactly what they need to do. They can then tick it off and mark that off. They say online that it should take approximately an hour to complete this 5 days a week. Personally, we found it takes longer than that, but I'll talk more about that at the end. So within the student notebook is their schedule, and then this corresponds, of course, directly to the textbook. The textbook is full color, full illustration, and the charts within it are excellent. So you can see here just an example of some of the charts that they have, good explanations, and I really appreciate that about it. I'm going to show you another page here, once again, just showing that they have good Just great information and good illustrations that go along with it. On the online version, my daughter will often print out these charts and add them to her notes. And so that's one of the things that she likes to do with her online version of it. And then just to give you a little idea, so for example, what your child, may be reading in a day, I'm just going to pick a page here. So let's say they are on module 15 and they are to read in the textbook here from page 617 to 625. And so we'll flip to that in the textbook and you can see that, it is a decent, it wouldn't be this, but starting here, it would be this. All of that. This, once again, I really like all the pictures that they have. So that's 621. All of that. And as well, all of that. So that would be an example of 1 day's worth of reading. And then as they read, they are supposed to take notes, which there is room for within the student notebook. And then at the end of each day, the section for that day, they answer the on your own questions. So those, and the number of questions varies from lesson to lesson. So this one they've got, let me see, question 15 through 22. So then they would do that in their student notebook. All right, so within the student notebook, so like I said, it was questions 15 through 22, so that they would go ahead and answer those in the student notebook. And then in the print-based material, you can get the answers for those on your own questions in the solution book. And so they do have access to those, and which I think is great because for my daughter, once, as I said, she's doing this independently. So she answers the questions and then online, she can just click a drop-down menu and read over the correct answer or, print, they would look it up in their book if that's how you like them to function. And then they can get that feedback right away. Did they get it right? Are they understanding it? Is there anything that they need to change in their answer to deepen their understanding? So I really like that the answers to those questions are available. In addition to answering the on your own questions in the student notebook, there is also pages that they take notes in for each lesson. So they fill that out and that's really great. The note taking, I think, is a huge skill that high school students need to develop. And if they have homeschooled much of their lives, then perhaps it isn't something that is a well-developed skill. So at the beginning of the student notebook, there is this page that talks about, how to take notes, a system for taking notes, and they give you a whole structure to it. And so for me, I really, really like that. That was a skill that I wanted my daughter to work on. And so that is something that she has really developed throughout the modules of this course. Here are a couple examples of notes that she's taken as she does it. They teach them to ask questions and then answer them over here. My daughter felt like the on your own questions were sufficient as far as answering questions, so she does her own notes. And then I like that they teach them to do kind of an overall concept summary at the end of their notes, just to kind of summarize the main things that perhaps they learned in that lesson. In addition to the on your own questions, the taking notes, for each module, there is also a study guide section that your child can fill out as they go. So my daughter does it as she's going through the lessons, and then she checks any vocabulary that is new. She'll go ahead and fill that out as she does the lesson. She really likes that, and they're often in the order that it appears in the lessons, and so that's great. So she'll fill those out and that way she can refer back to those as she's studying for the module tests. Then there's also a place, for if they're learning something, they can do a drawing of, or there'll be additional study guide questions that they can write as they're hitting different topics. And that has been something that's been really valuable for her as she goes to study for the unit tests. The other big thing in the student notebook is the information that they need for the experiments. We'll talk about experiments, but that is, a big part of this program is that there are experiments and students learn how to do a lab report. So all the information that they need for the variety of experiments that they do in each module is all in the student notebook. So it gives them their steps. It gives them diagrams. This is a dissection, I believe. And then it has a place for them to do their lab report in the student notebook as well. So as you can see, the student notebook is essential regardless whether you're doing the print or one of the online versions. The last thing that I wanted to talk about for the print-based format is that you do get you'll need your test booklet, which comes in all the packages, and then it also comes with the solution book. And this is really important because remember what I just showed you as far as vocabulary and the study guide questions, on your own questions, all the answer to those are within this. So they can, check their definitions, they can check their study guide questions, and make sure that they're on the right track. And so that is an important component of the program. Now that you've had a look into the print-based format, I'm going to go ahead and show you what it'll look like if you decide to go with one of the online options, either the live class or the self-paced. They both use the same platform. And so you can keep that in mind. You can access this. It's called Canvas is the platform that they use. And it can be done on a mobile device, laptop, Chromebook, you name it. So that's really handy. And also remember that throughout the online course, everything is online. So you've got, the textbook is online, the audio is there, and the video is embedded in it. But you still do need to get the student notebook, and all the things that I showed you regarding the print-based version will be the same when you just do the reading and the instruction part online. All right, so here you will see this is actually the Canvas app. Just for ease of recording, I'm going to do this on my iPad. My daughter accesses this on a laptop, and that's how she does it. So here you will find all the different modules. If you want a detailed look into what each of the modules cover, you can go ahead and click on the link in the description, and you can have the sample will show you all of that. And so from here, we're going to go ahead and just kind of get an idea of what a typical lesson might look like. So we're going to click here on Module 5. And what's really nice is that while you do have the schedule in the student notebook, the schedule when you do the online class it's the exact same, but by clicking on it, it will take you right to that portion that they need to read. So that's right there. And so that was, one day. We're going to go ahead and take a look here at week 10, day 5. And so you can just click and it'll take you directly to that section that you're supposed to read. And so as I had mentioned, if you look up above, you can see the play button. That's the audio recording, and it will read all of this to you, which I just think is so, so important and valuable. And my daughter agrees that it would be so much harder to do it without this, because then she is hearing all this new vocabulary pronounced properly. For a sample, you can go ahead and click on the link in the description, and there will be a sample of the audio. It's very well done, as well as a video sample. So here's this. You can see that on this page, there's a short video that they watched that is not necessarily new information, but it reinforces what they're already learning. And my daughter, once again, said that these are fantastic. So that was the first section of the day. And then on to this one. There's really great pictures and graphics throughout. So once again, you would hit the top to have it read to you. And then on the right here, you'll see there's just a short video on this section with some more explanations. And so this would be the second part of this day. And here is the next step. From the online, you can also, my daughter will print out, like on the right, you can see the graphics. And so if it's something that she feels she'd like to refer back to as she's studying for the quiz at the end of the module, then she will print those out and keep them in her binder just so that she can refer to them. And so this is the end of the reading for this day. There wasn't a long video. Sometimes the videos can be quite long. And then these are all the on your own questions. The only downfall of doing the course on an iPad or using the app is that you'll see up here it says on your own 5.13 draw and label. It'll actually give the answer here just if you're using an Apple device. If you are using this on a laptop or computer, it's actually a drop-down menu, so you don't automatically see the answer to the question. So when she does it, the answer isn't there. She answers it in her student notebook and then clicks the drop-down menu to make sure she got it right. So that's really nice that they can check those right away. And so on the laptop, like I said, the bolded part they would see, and then the answer is a drop-down menu. So something to think about. Another chart. And yeah, as you can see, and so it's a lot. Each day, it does take a long time. I'm not going to lie. They say online that, plan on about an hour, 5 days a week. I would say for us, it would be easily an hour to 2 hours by the time you listen to the audio, answer the questions, and watch the videos. You can see that this video alone is 30 minutes. So while it's probably fantastic and has great information, it is a time commitment. So we have not found that realistically an hour is how long she spends on it. But I love the interface and I love how easy it is to use and navigate. And there is this, you can look at this schedule for the course as a whole or within each module. So now that you have an idea of the 3 different formats that you can choose from and kind of got a peek into what it looks like, I wanted to go ahead and give you my review and thoughts on this program as a whole. In addition to homeschooling my own children and my daughter doing this course, I also am fortunate enough to work with homeschooling families in central Alberta, Canada. And so I talked to 3 other families whose children are currently using this program this year. And it was interesting to get their feedback and thoughts on the program as well. Overall, everyone loves how well laid out this course is. It is very, very organized, easy to use, as you can see. And even if you as a parent are not an expert in science, which I certainly am not, this is something that your child can do very independently because the instruction is excellent. And so I really love that portion of it, regardless of what format you go with. I love that it really appeals to all types of learners. So, if your child is more visual, you've got the reading, you've got the demonstrations through the videos that have talking and graphics and PowerPoint slides all mixed in. So it's great for your visual learners. And it's also great, for someone who's a bit more auditory, like my daughter. I mean, she reads really well. That's not an issue. But just having it read to her and having it be such a high quality recording so she can really hear those vocabulary words that are biology specific, pronounced correctly has been really important to her. So we love that you can get the audio recording that comes with it. And like I said, the videos are so well done as well. And it's also, hands-on with the lab portion of it that your child can get really involved in those and do the labs at home. I did want to talk about the labs for just a second. So the labs are a big part of this program. If you look at the sample online, you can get a full list of all the things that your child would need to do the labs at home. And depending on where you live and what your, provincial or state requirements are, that could be really important for your child. And also what their future plans and goals are. Are they going into a more science oriented career where they're going to need to know how to do a lab at this kind of level? Then it certainly teaches them that, and it gives them an opportunity to practice those skills, make lab reports, and that is very great part of this program. On the flip side of that, if your child is, maybe science is not their passion, and perhaps this is just a requirement that they need for high school and to get into a program in university of their choice, which is very much, honestly, the boat that my daughter is in. She is not pursuing a career in science, and so while she appreciates the format of this program, science is not her passion. So we've adapted the program to work with us. She doesn't need a lab component. We're using this as a preparatory program to get her the information and knowledge base that she needs. And so all the labs and experiments are part of the videos. So for a child who doesn't need to do a lot of lab work in her future, then we have just chosen to watch the experiments being done. And that has worked really well. I feel like she gets everything that she needs to out of the experiment portion, and I love that that's included on the videos, but it really would be a time commitment to work through all of those. And so I think it's a great option for a lot of kids that instead of doing the whole experiment, that they can just watch those being performed. Another thing that I love is the student notebook. I think it is so great that if your child doesn't have a ton of experience, taking notes, answering questions, doing tests, that this gives them an opportunity to practice all of that and some instruction in it as well. So it's really well thought out and laid out. And whether you're going to be a science major or not, those skills of reading a textbook and taking notes that you can then go over and study and apply in a test, I think is a huge skill that is a skill all in and of itself. And so I love that she can practice that using this curriculum. So based upon, what I've seen with this, talking to my daughter and these other families, the other thing to consider is that this, if you go to the Apologia's website, they say it's a grade 9, grade 10 biology program. And this is the one thing that I would personally disagree with. Of course, it's going to vary where you live and what your provincial and state requirements may be, but this is an extremely advanced program. So like I said, we're here in Alberta, and I very meticulously went through the Alberta program of studies and saw what they're teaching in grade 10, 11, and 12 in regards to biology. And this more than covers the topics it's far beyond anything that they do in Alberta in grade 10. And it covers all the topics almost in both the grade 11 and the grade 12 biology here in Alberta. That would be your biology 20-1 and your biology 30-1. So those are your, university track level sciences. So this is a very advanced program. I think if you did this book over your 3 high school years, if you didn't need, any other sciences, just biology. So if you did this in grade, 10, 11, 12 or something like that, it would very much cover the education that your child would get here in the public school system in regards to biology. There's a couple topics that aren't covered. So like here in Alberta, they go over in grades 11 and 12 human body systems, and that isn't covered in this book. They spend more time on plants and animals, but it's not that the book is any easier than what they're doing in grade 11 and 12. It just covers a couple different topics. So I think that is something to really keep in mind. My daughter finds this a challenging, almost too challenging curriculum. One of the other kids that I talked to also finds it very challenging, but something to keep in mind is that these are not science-loving kids. They are doing this to meet some requirements, and they have other plans for their life. Another child that I talked to that's doing this, she does want to pursue more of a science path, and she loves it. She doesn't find it overly challenging. She's done well on the tests. She is able to do the lessons, in about that hour and a half range. And so that's her experience. And we know the things that your kids love and are passionate about are the types of things that they're going to be able to do more easily. So I think just keep in mind that this is a very academic program. It's a very challenging program, and that is a great thing. But something to bear in mind if you don't have a child who loves science, or if you're thinking, hey, this is something that they're doing in school in grade 9 and 10. No, this is biology all the way through grade 12, in my opinion. I hope this helps you make your decision about whether this would be a good fit for you and your family. You can certainly consider what format is a good fit for you, and also, what your child needs for their high school thing. Is this, the type of course that is going to get them where they need to go? Is it academic? Absolutely. Is it going to cover everything they need to know and then some? Absolutely. Is it something that they can do independently of mom or dad because the instruction is excellent? Absolutely. So those are all huge bonuses of the program, just keeping in mind that it is a very academic program, and so it will have your child well prepared, and depending on what they want to do with their life, even more prepared than they may need to be. So thanks for sticking in here. If you hung in there for this whole review, you are truly a parent dedicated to your child, because this was way longer than I intended, but hopefully I answered all your questions. If I did not, go ahead and throw your questions in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them. Bye-bye.